it's time to wrap it up. It's time to basically kind of sum all this up and just give my final opinion, my final analysis on this R. Kelly situation. Basically, from what I've read and what I think, whether or not he's guilty and whether or not he created, child pornography, right? So basically, you've heard the allegations in this federal suits. So basically, have he's been said to have. I'm sorry, he's been said to have slept with at least 5 minor children, as you see here. Minor one was basically 12 to 13. Minor two was under 17, and minor three was around 15. Minor four 16, and then minor five was 13 to 14 years old. Whether or not he's guilty. Now, I'm going to come out and say definitely sleeping with kids is definitely immoral, and there is definitely a law against this, right? But I'm going to say, and dare I say, that it's up for a judge to decide, and it's up for God to decide whether or not he's guilty of these crimes. And the reason I say this is because when you look at the Heather Williams situation, and you can see the video that I basically made about that, I think with the Heather Williams situation, I believe the parents knew. I believe there's no way in the world that the parents didn't know. And she was probably thinking about, the money that he would have probably likely given her. And like I said, everything in these videos are alleged. And I think she was probably thinking about becoming a star, a pop star. And again, I get it. Children can't consent. Their minds haven't developed. I get that, right? Right? So it boils down to trying to figure out whether or not he's guilty. It's up for judge, jury, and God to basically decide that. Now, basically, with that said, I think one of the biggest challenges for R. Kelly is that he has to worry about people flipping. That's going to be probably one of his major challenges in this whole case, trying to find a way to persuade individuals involved in this case to not flip. I think the flippers are going to be a huge problem for R. Kelly, right? And I think he has to find a way to basically deal with these people. I believe there could be multiple phases or multiple options, rather, that he has to deal with these flippers. And the first thing that comes to mind is that he could find a way, a legal way, mind you, right? Because you don't want to get in trouble again. He could find a legal way to reach out to these people and persuade them not to flip. Now, I'm saying this without doing any research, right? Again, I'm just some guy on the internet, right? I know there are probably legal procedures that one has to take so that he doesn't commit witness tampering. So if such a way exists, then he obviously wants to do it legally. He doesn't want to get caught with witness tampering because it's just going to make things worse. But if there is such a way to legally reach out to these people and provide the opportunity for him to persuade them not to flip, then he has to take that. He has to, take any and every opportunity to legally reach out to these people and try not to get them to flip. One of the ways that he could possibly do it is that he could probably make a public statement, and he could probably try to appeal to the conscience of these flippers, right? And I think he's tried to do that, but maybe that kind of failed with the CBS interview, right? I think he came out and he was like, he was saying, y'all killing me with this stuff. So maybe he was trying to appeal to their conscience. I would say continue to try to do things like that so long as it's legal, because you gotta try to reach these people to keep them from basically, telling their stories, or even, possibly telling lies just to save their skin. You got to find some type of way to do that, right? So the other option that he possibly could have with some of these flippers is to basically find a way to prevent them from testifying. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm just some guy on the internet, but there could be some way in which they could be disqualified or prevented from testifying. And that being the case, that's another option he has to take, right? I don't know if such a reason actually exists, but if it does, he has to find a way to legally block these people from basically, flipping and telling their version of the events. And I think the other possible phase or option that he could have is that even if they do testify, he can't persuade them not to testify, and he can't prevent them legally from giving testimony, right, through some formal legal proceeding. Then his final option in my mind, right, could be more, but the only one I can think of at this time is to basically have their testimony thrown out. For example, one of the flippers is actually the victim, and that victim basically is alleged, as you saw in the indictment, to have given false testimony, right? And basically, Greenberg could come out and say, "Hey, she's a known liar. She lied the first time, right? She's alleged to have lied the first time when she said it wasn't her in the video, and now she's coming back to say she is in the video, right? So, which story are we to believe? Are we to believe her when she said she was in the she was not in the video the first time, or are we to believe that she's telling the truth this time?" Because more than likely she's probably just trying to save her own skin, so she's basically just saying anything, right? So things like that, and that's just one scenario that pops up in my head, but there could be multiple ways to basically discredit the flipper's testimony. So yeah, he has to really do something about these flippers because they are going to basically make or break the case. The government doesn't have much evidence beyond the videotape, uh, besides the flippers, right? Without the flippers' testimony, I would imagine they're only stuck with the videotape.